Hello and welcome. I'm Angela of Stamping Beauty in Christchurch, New Zealand. Today I'm sharing with you how I created this card for this month's Be Inspired blog hop. Our theme this month is taking flight, and the Take to the Sky Sweet collection is perfect. So I'm starting with a card base of copper clay. I'm just going to fold that in half and burnish along here. Get a nice sharp fold, and then I'm going to create this layer here. So I'm starting with a piece of basic white, and I'm just going to layer up these two pieces of designer series paper. I have got just a very small edge around it. Just popping the designer series paper on a bit of cardstock does give a firmer base. And then just this piece along the bottom. And what I've done is wrapped some twine around here. And I've done that 3 times just to get a nice thick edge. So what I'm going to do is pop a little bit of tear and tape just to hold it to get started. And just wrap that around. 3 times. Then I'll just cut that off there, and then do the same thing here. Just put another bit of tear and tape on this end here. Then I want to adhere that piece there onto here, and I want to use dimensionals. So just get a nice amount of those. Spread them evenly around. Take those backs off. Always find that to be a fiddly little job. And then get that nice and centered onto here. Next, I did flick a little bit of the Stampin' Blends onto here, just to add a little bit of a distressed look. Just flick that. I'm using the dark Stampin' Blends. And next I'm going to create this little circle here. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock, and this is one of the stylish shapes. It's the largest circle, so just run that through and cut that. Then I want to emboss that, and I'm using the Metal Plate 3D embossing folder. So I'll just run that through my big machine. You could use the other side too. That's quite an interesting pattern. I'll stick to what I've done. So that's just going to sit up on there, and I'll use some dimensionals, and I just want to avoid the twine because otherwise it could end up being a little lumpy and bumpy. So about there. Then I want to create my little plane. So I've got just a piece of basic white cardstock and my stamp. Always forget something, my Memento ink, so I'm just going to ink that up. Get a really good covering on that. And stamp that onto here. And I'm going to die cut that, and while I'm die cutting that, I'm also going to die cut the propeller. Bring my little mini machine in again. Get that nicely lined up. And this doesn't matter so much, so I'll just tuck that on the ends there. Careful not to bump it. Right. Pull that off. So I've just used my take your pick tool. That's just to get under there so I don't damage them. Yay, that's worked out, so that's good. The next thing I'm going to do is colour my plane, and I've got, this is the bronze marker and this is the ivory marker, and I'm also using the light smoky slate and the dark smoky slate. So I just use this, the ivory one, for the body of the plane. I just wanted some colours that would tie in with the copper clay. So I'm just going to use this ivory to fill the plane in totally. I love all the marks already done for us, so we can follow those too. Don't have to worry about the working out shading for ourselves. We can just, actually I've just got a bit close to the edge over here. It's done for us, so then I'm going to use the bronze marker and just follow onto those lines. So I've got that shading. And it will blend if you do it quickly enough and it's still damp. Got a bit of that going on, and then I'm going to use the dark smoky slate around the tires. And on some of these areas here, and then same, this time I'm doing the dark first and then I'll add the light, but it doesn't matter as long as you just blend once you've done. You can go back over areas too if you like. You just want to work quickly so it will blend in. So just filling that area through there. And then across here and round. And then I might just go over those dark ones again just to get a bit of extra darkness onto them. And that's the other thing too, if you do that, it does add extra, it just sort of layers it up, the colour. So even using the lighter pens on top of each other, on top of itself, it will give an extra bit of depth. So that was pretty easy and didn't take too long, which is always good. Then I want to add, sorry, you can probably hear my cat going crazy. I don't know what she wants. So I'll just add a few dimensionals there, and it's going to once again take the backs off these dimensionals. And pop that on a bit of an angle going across there. Then I want to add one of these propellers. In a couple of ways, you could add a tiny little bit of dimensional, although what I find works really well is just a glue dot, roll it up, and then just pop it on the back, and then tuck it on there. So you don't have to mess around with trying to cut the dimensional right down. Then the next thing I'm going to do is do the sentiment. So I'm just going to do that in white onto the copper clay. So I'm coordinating it with the base. And then I've got my white embossed powder. A nice covering with that, and I'll just heat that, so it won't be a moment. Hoping it will fit in this punch, which it does. A bit of paper's a bit short, a bit of cardstock. I will just grab just a post-it note, that always helps. That on there, and I can, so this unfortunately is a punch that's no longer, but I just love it for sentiments like this that it fits in. And I'm just going to trim that off. Don't have to, but I just, on this occasion, it's nice to just have it straight. And then I'm going to pop that on dimensionals there. So take that off there. Just cut those in half. So that end is going to be, I'm going to do a double layer, because it's got this and then it's going to have another layer. So I'll just put two dimensionals there and then one here, because that's already got one underneath it. So just want to get it to the same level. So that's that. And then I'm using These are the adhesive back metallic gems, and they're in this coppery colour, which I thought worked really well with the copper clay. So I'm going to pop one big one here and a small one here, and then another small one at the top here. And then lastly, I'm going to do, I always like to coordinate the inside, and I've got this, and I've got a little bit of designer series paper that seems to have, here it is, I was going to say vanished. So just to coordinate with the outside, just pop a little bit of glue on there. Put it along the bottom of that. Let's trim that off. And just a little bit of Stampin' Seal on each corner. And then pop that inside. And that is my card made. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this card being made. I think this is a really good layout that you could do with lots of stamp sets and paper, and it's a great way to use some paper. So thanks again. See you again. Bye.